Good morning, everybody. You're welcome to class. Now, for today's session, what I'm going to be looking at is grammar and vocabulary in IELTS Writing Task 2. You know that grammar and vocabulary are two main criteria we have in IELTS Writing Task 2. The other two are task achieved, task response, and coherence and cohesion, right? So grammar and vocabulary takes 50%, and the other two take 50%. And what we are going to do is that we are going to look at a sample question and a sample response. Now, this sample question you have here says, many believe that modern technology has brought people together, but others say that it has driven us apart. Discuss both viewpoints and give your own opinion. So it is more or less a discussion and opinion essay in Writing Task 2. Our focus now is to look at a sample response that is currently at a band 6 level. It's at a band 6 level, and fix all the grammatical and vocabulary issues in that response to take it up from band 6 to at least a band 8 level. That is the goal. Even if we cannot get into band 9, because it takes a lot to get to band 9, but even at that, a band 8 is not a bad idea. So, from the next slide now, I'm going to be showing you the band 6 essay that the candidate has written, and then we are going to look at it sentence by sentence to deal with both the grammatical issues there and the vocabulary issues that are there. And from there, we may also go into some issues of task achievements and all of that, just to get it up to band 8. Now, let's start. Now, this is the introduction. There is an ongoing debate on whether advanced technology has brought unity among individuals. While this may sound logical, others argue that it has drifted people apart. Now, this is the sentence. It starts from here and it gets to this point, 4 lines. But this sentence has a number of grammatical errors as well as vocabulary problems. I will start with the grammatical issues there. Inside this sentence, I can see 2 independent clauses and 1 dependent clause. But they have not been properly joined together. Let's start. There is an ongoing debate on whether advanced technology has brought unity among individuals. This independent clause is not complete based on meaning. If you say there is an ongoing debate, it means there is an argument already on ground, right? Now, there is an ongoing debate on whether there is an argument already. So it means some persons have a view and some other persons have another view, right? When you now use the word whether, whether is one word that goes with whether this or this, whether X or Y, whether rice or beans. Are you with me? So, with that understanding, whether rice or beans, whether X or Y, whether this or that, if you look at this line, there is an ongoing debate on whether advanced technology has brought unity among individuals. Now, remember I said, and then they had a comma here. Now, remember I said, whether X or Y, whether rice or beans. So, whether this or not. Full stop at that point. So we improve this. There is an ongoing debate on whether advanced technology has brought unity among individuals or not. I want everybody to write this sentence down. Type it. You can type it or you can write it down. Type it or write it down. Because I'm going to clean this part. When I'm done with this paragraph, this slide, I will clean everything here. Move to the next one. Do you understand? So once you use the word whether, know that you must be comparing one thing with another thing. So whether this whole thing or not, the not automatically is the opposite of what you had at the top. Is that clear? Good. Now, let's move to the second part of that sentence. So if we have a full stop here, automatically it means that this while has to start with a capital letter, right? Somebody would have said, why didn't we just say this or not, and then we now say, while this may sound logical. Abi? Because we know very well that sometimes you could have this guy here. This is subordinate conjunction, you know now, right? I taught you already that subordinate conjunctions can either come at the beginning of a sentence or they can come in the middle after the independent clause. You know, I've taught you that before. But the problem is this. If you are going to have a while here, number one, you're not going to have a comma here. There will not be any comma here. Because once your subordinate conjunction, while, although, though, despite, and all that, once they come after the independence clause in that sentence, they're not coming at the beginning. Once they come after the independent clause, no comma again. If this was coming at the beginning, then there'll be what? A comma. The second issue with this is that this part, if it's going to be valid for it to be here, it must contradict what you have here. Something like saying, there was a heavy downpour yesterday while we were at the meeting. More or less saying, this event is happening while this is happening. Like, do you understand? As this was happening, another thing was happening. And this was happening, that one was happening. Are you with me? But if you look at what you have here, you cannot apply the same thing here because look at it. There is an ongoing debate on whether advanced technology has brought unity among individuals or not. While this may sound logical. Does this sit well? Does this sit well? This is not something else happening separately from this. Are you with me? So it's obvious that the writer has already passed his message here, and this should be a full stop, right? So that we can now start a new sentence from while. Do you understand, class? Aha. So, full stop at these points. Full stop at these points. So we start now. While this may sound logical, others, no, you have a semicolon, and that's another issue. Others argue that it has drifted people apart. Now we have a second problem here. In fact, inside here we have a number of problems. Let me put it that way. There are a number of problems. Now, what's the first problem? The first problem we have here, or can anybody identify what the first problem is here? This one is not even about grammar per se. This problem is not about grammar. It's about cohesion, coherence and cohesion. Can anybody can you identify what the challenge is here? Did you notice any challenge? The what? The this, right? Good. So what's the question? What's coming to your mind? Plural. Being plural or singular. Okay, not that per se. The issue is actually with the word this here. But the problem is, what is this referring to? This is a determiner in English language. It's called a determiner. It helps to determine what we're talking about. This book. So when I say this book, I know this is the book I'm referring to. You could also have words like these, that, right? That, those. They are all determiners in English language. So if I say those books, that means I'm referring to a number of books somewhere. If I say this book, I'm referring to this book. Good. Now, the question is, if you use the word this here, it means you are referring to something before it. And if I come back here, the subject inside this sentence is what? The what? The debates. This is our subject. So if this is our subject now, it means that you are trying to say that while these debates may sound logical, can you see the gap there? While these debates may sound logical, so we're like, okay, if the debates sound logical, okay, we now came here and you now said others argue that it, and that's another problem here, because now you're using the pronoun again for referencing. You use this for referencing, to refer to the debates. So that means you're saying, while these debates may sound logical, others argue that the debate has drifted people apart. That's exactly. So it means that this sentence now has taken us off from what we are looking at. Once the examiner gets to this point, the reader gets to this point and he reads, he says, no, there's a problem. I don't understand what you're saying again. So, how do we make this better? The issue, what this person is referring to by saying it may sound logical, is obviously that advanced technology, to some extent, has brought people unity, right? So, the issue is with this phrase, or this clause, may sound logical. For something to sound logical, it means that thing makes sense. Are you with me? It makes sense. Now, advanced technology has brought unity among individuals. Is that something that has made sense? In the context of what we're looking at here, it should be that once a set of persons agree that this has happened, are you with me? That we've achieved unity, are you with me? Others feel no, it has rather drawn us apart. So let's make that sentence better. So I wipe this sentence away now. I wipe this sentence away. And then I write, while some argue that the innovation has fostered unity hold on first. I don't want to repeat the same words that I hear. So let's just keep it simple here. Now, there's already a debate about whether this has happened and all of this, right? So, put it this way. To some, our society is more united, comma, but to others, this innovation as now, I will not use the word drifted, because when you say you don't drift people, you can drift from off the points. It's just one thing that drifts off the points. You could say water drifts away. You could say you're drifting away from what you're talking about, from the main purpose. Are you with me? But from what you're talking about here, it's about causing divisions. Are you with me? Causing what? Divisions. It does not bind us together. Are you with me? So you could say to others, this innovation has what? Divided us. To keep it simple. So there is an ongoing debate on whether advanced technology has brought unity among individuals or not. To some, our society is more united, but to others, this innovation has divided us. Full stop. Now, you notice that there is a comma here. And I remember I said that when you have a subordinating conjunction like while, although, despite, in the middle of a sentence, you don't have the commas to it, right? But why do we have a comma here? We have a comma here because this conjunction here, this but here, is not a subordinating conjunction, but a coordinating conjunction. It's a coordinating conjunction. Just like as, just like and, just like so. Are you with me? So, because of that, you can have a comma here. Now, what's happening is that this comma is joining this independence clause with this other independence clause that starts here. So, this is an independence clause, and then this another independence clause, and then this is a coordinating conjunction, and this is what? A comma. I've taught you this before. Are you with me? You don't join two independent clauses with just a comma alone. There must be a coordinating conjunction. And, or, so, if, but. No, if is not there. Fanboy, that is for. And, neither, either. So, are you with me? But, and all of that. Good. So, that is what you should take note of. Now, the last sentence. So, we're done with the first two sentences. You could see all the things we corrected. In the last sentence, in my opinion, technology has done more good to people's lives than drawbacks. And there are vocabulary issues here, even grammatical problems in this single sentence. Please, write the second sentence. Add it to what you had before. So let's go to the next one. In my opinion, it's a good way to express your opinion, no doubt about that, and there's a comma, so good one. Technology has done. Now, we have a problem. This is vague. Technology has done. Now, why is it vague? What we are dealing with here is advanced technology, right? This is saying technology. They don't mean the same thing. Are you with me? They don't mean the same thing. Advanced technology here means that it has improved, right? An improvement in technology. But this one is just technology on its own. Question says modern technology, which relates to advanced technology. Modern technology relates to advanced technology. Good. But coming here, saying just technology is vague because we don't know, are you referring to ancient technology or modern technology? Are you with me? Remember, when I got here, I wrote this innovation to tell you that it's something new. And I'm now referring to this because this is where the innovation is coming from. So coming here, instead of saying technology, you could say recent developments in technology. That's a way to paraphrase modern technology, since that's what the question says. Now, and because it is recent developments, this automatically becomes have, right? Done more good. In my opinion, recent developments in technology have done more what? More good to people's lives than what? Than drawbacks. Now, instead of saying I've done more good, it should be more good than harm. That's what comes to mind. Most times we hear more harm than what? Than good. So if we hear more harm than good, if you are going to use it, you have to become more what? More good than what? Than harm. So you cannot write more good than drawbacks. Because that's what I'm seeing here. Has done more good to people's lives than drawbacks. No. This drawbacks is out. It has to be harm. More harm than good, more good than harm. So we said, I've done more good than what? Than harm. Full stop. So we take off the drawbacks straight away. So, but we also have to people's lives, right? So you could actually add this to people's lives to it. It becomes more good to people's lives than what? Than harm. Is that taken? So we are done with the first slide. Can you take us to the second one? Now, the second one takes us to the first body paragraph. Yes, you have a question? Best time to use a semicolon. Good question. Now, a semicolon can also play the role of a comma and a coordinating conjunction. Are you with me? The last sentence I gave you, read the last sentence for me. In my opinion, comma, yeah. In technology, yeah. I've done more good to people's lives, yeah, than am. Semicolon. Look at this. This first sentence, or this first clause, is an independent clause, right? This is also another independent clause because this can stand on its own, right? Living is now more convenient than it was before. Like our way of life is now more convenient than it was before. Beautiful. Now, normally you are supposed to merge these two together using a comma and a coordinating conjunction. So comma and, right? You get comma so, that kind of thing. You get comma but you can't use but here because these and these go together. Are you with me? So in place of all this, use a semicolon. Are you with me? But when you're going to use that semicolon, make sure that the second independent clause has a connection with the first one. Not something that's contradicting it completely. Let there be some level of connection. Then it becomes easy for you to connect them. So that's it. So in the previous slide, go to the previous slide. There was a use of semicolon, but it was wrong. Because even if this sentence were to be right, you write while capital letter W, while this may sound logical, it should be a comma here because this is not even an independent clause. This is a dependent clause. It's dependent. It's dependent on this second part. So because of that, you can't have a semicolon. No, it has to be a comma. Do you understand? Good. Let's proceed. Technological advancements has many advantages, but the disadvantage about it is that it has limited face-to-face interaction. People prefer communicating over the phone than meeting physically. It has reduced the rate at which people visit themselves to have a meeting, which can weaken emotional connection and can lead to miscommunication. This is an example of a run-on sentence or a comma splice sentence. That's the biggest problem here. It's a run-on sentence or what you call a comma splice or comma splice sentence. Because there are frequent misuse. There's a frequent misuse of commas and full stops. You notice that the only full stop you have is here. So it's a long sentence that's full of errors. So it's a typical example of a run-on sentence and comma splice sentence. And apart from that, there are concord errors even inside here. There are what? Concord errors inside here. So let's deal with this line by line. Technological advancements has many. Now let's start from there. Technological advancements has many advantages. Let's start from there. First of all, this word, technological advancements, yes, they collocate. The two words collocate. But the way it is written written in a singular form. It is written in what? In singular form. Now, when you are writing a noun in a singular form, and you are using that noun to start a sentence, there must be an article before it. Let me give an instance. Imagine you start a sentence by saying, man. We need one that's in singular form, not one that can assume the position of a plural noun. A man can actually assume the position of a plural noun. When you say man, man is a living being. That man you're referring to is not just a single person. Are you with me? So I want to pick an example of a noun that can only take a singular form. And when it was going to take a plural form, it changes. So let's say, boy broke the bottle. Now, when you write this, does this make sense? Is something missing? What is missing? An article is missing. And that's the same thing that happened here. It now becomes the boy or a boy broke the what? The bottle. It doesn't take away the fact that the word boy is a singular noun. But the fact that you are starting a sentence with boy and you don't have this article creates a problem. However, if it was in a plural form, if it was in plural form, are you with me? You can actually start the the sentence with just the plural noun without an article. For instance, boys are not allowed or are not permitted to visit the dormitory. You don't need to add an article here. You don't need to add something to measure it like some boys or the boys, those boys. It's not compulsory. It's left. This means that generally boys are not. So you're not specific on any type of boys. Are you with me? So, but in a situation whereby it is a singular noun, don't start that singular noun, don't start that sentence, without an article, a or the, or an, if it is in vowel. Do you get? So that is the problem with this. So this becomes technological advancements, first of all, so that it takes up this form of plural. And once this happens, this verb will change because of concord. This verb changes and it becomes what? Have. Technological advancements, have, and then many. Now, even without this error here, there was already a problem here. And the problem was that you're using the word many to show more than one, right? And you cannot have advantage, it has to be advantageous.